I am Latricia Booker, and this is Kingdom Business. And so I am here to empower you by helping you to heal, be delivered, and be free. By helping to let you know who you are, elevate your mind and your spirit, raise and expand your consciousness, and to ultimately help you to walk in your purpose. And so I want to talk today about healthy attachment versus unhealthy attachment. And so, in order to have a healthy attachment, and what I'm speaking of as far as healthy attachments is particularly in relationships. And so, in order to have a healthy attachment, you have to have two individuals or individuals who are healthy spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and sometimes even financially. So, when you have an unhealthy attachment, usually one or both people are unhealthy spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and maybe even financially. And so, first, I want to speak more so to unhealthy attachments. And so, how do unhealthy attachments go? What do they look like? Okay, so we as people living in this world have experienced trauma. We have had a lot of hurts, have had painful experiences, and many a times we're wounded and we're traumatized. We have scars. We carry hurt and we carry pain. And so what happens when you don't properly deal with those things and heal from those things, you can become pretty unhealthy. And that means that you carry a lot of baggage, you have a lot of internal issues, you have battles going on within yourself, you experience low self-esteem and insecurities, and so you pretty much become a problematic person. So what happens is many a times people who are in that space attract others that are in the same place and space. So when you come into a relationship in any kind of way with another unhealthy person, the relationship is pretty much unhealthy. Some words that they have been called as toxic relationships, dysfunctional relationship, but ultimately it's an unhealthy relationship, which means you have an unhealthy attachment. Now, in life, we're going to be attached to some things. That can be a normal thing, although there are people who can transcend and ascend to becoming detached. Okay, before I go too much into that, I want to speak specifically right now to those who have unhealthy relationships, unhealthy attachments, that is. So, I've learned and observed that when you have an unhealthy attachment, it looks like this. One or both parties can be controlling, one or both parties can be jealous of one another. Um, Sometimes the one person is trying to hold the other back. One person don't want to see another move forward in life. They kind of want to keep you in a bubble and keep you kind of, I like to call it compartmentalize. Like put you somewhere where they feel safe with you, right? Like secure you for their benefit and want you to just stay there and be that. That is a very unhealthy act, thing, intent, behavior. It's not a healthy thing. And so, what a healthy attachment looks like is being in a relationship with someone or with when both people want the best for the other, meaning they don't do things to try to prevent them from moving forward. In fact, they encourage them to and assist them in that. They support them in that. They do whatever it is that they can. They also tend to, let's say you have a relationship, a friendship, or uh, employee employer relationship, and or mentor and mentee relationship, and someone has to move on. Let's just say an employee needs to move on to the next thing. I've seen this before quite a bit. I've actually experienced it as well. And so let's say the employee, it's time they've come to a place where they want to move on to something else. This is a job or career that no longer serves them, or this is a company where they no longer feel fulfilled and they feel led to move on to something else. And so they pursue something else. And their employer kind of gets angry about that and kind of doesn't want to see them move on. And so, in that kind of a case, that's unhealthy. That's a situation where there may be an attachment, and it's an unhealthy attachment because that person doesn't want the employer doesn't don't want the employee to move on, to move forward and fulfill their dreams, do what it is that they feel like they need to do for themselves and their lives. And so a healthier attachment looks more, or a relationship even, looks more like when the employee decides they need to do something different, the employer wishes them well, genuinely, authentically, really wishes them the best and understands that even though they were employed at that company or they worked with them before, that life happens and people have a right to move on, and they free them, they release them, and they're happy for them. In fact, they wish them well because they know in life people have to leave, people have to go to do other things, and they're happy for them and want to see them do well. Unhealthy. Now, let me say this as well. That doesn't mean that they may not feel some kind of a sadness, or because sometimes when we've grown to love people and we're used to them being around and we have a good relationship with them, we kind of, it's kind of sometimes sad to see them go. But even though we may feel and experience that sadness, at the same time we release them understanding that this is what's best for them, or this is what they're choosing, and we wish them well, and we enjoy and appreciate the times that we've had with them. And so, again, going back to the unhealthy attachment, an unhealthy attachment doesn't do that. An unhealthy attachment will try to make the employee feel bad about moving on. They will even go so far and try to manipulate them, try to make them feel like they owe them or try to get in their way. And let's just say, in a case where a newer employer is calling the old employer to see what kind of employee that person was, or a place that they're seeking to be employed, and the present employer says bad things about them when it's not true, in an effort to keep them from getting something else. That is unhealthy. That's a person that's trying to get in the way of you moving forward, which again is an unhealthy attachment. So this thing applies as well in relationships, in intimate relationships, as well as friendships, even mother and daughter, sister, mother, whatever kind of a relationship you may have. The same thing applies. If you have a mate or a partner that wants to get in your way to keep you from moving forward instead of assisting you, you very well may be dealing with someone who's unhealthy, and there may be an unhealthy attachment there. And so many a times when one person wants goes on to do what it is they want to do in spite of the other person not wanting them to, and doing everything that they can to get in their way, that person that moves on is really breaking free from an unhealthy attachment. And if they're wise and have learned and understand that, they will go on to encounter healthier relationships and attachments. So many a times we learn what an unhealthy attachment is by experiencing it. And then knowing and realizing that it's unhealthy, knowing that we don't want that, breaking free from that, and only coming into healthier attachments, meaning you have to only engage in that way of being in a relationship with healthier people. And Healthier people are usually people who don't have a lot of baggage. Either they just don't have it, didn't have it, or they've worked through a lot of things. They've worked through a lot of their issues and, done the inner work. And so they're lighter, they're freer, they're secure, they know who they are, they know their purpose, and they're walking in that. They're walking that out. And so, that's they're more likely to attract someone who's healthier and therefore can form a healthy relationship, a healthy attachment. And so just know the difference between healthy attachments and unhealthy attachments. And I also want to say that an unhealthy attachment looks like this as well. Needy, where you're codependent on one another. It's one thing, and it's a good thing to rely on someone simply because they're dependable, they're in your life. You're in this partnership or relationship, but it's a whole nother thing to be dependent on them to the point that if they are not there, you can't function. That's a form of an unhealthy attachment as well. And many a times the one who is the unhealthy one will tend to be the needy one. They will tend to be the one that will try to keep you there, to keep their life the way they want it. And so if you're not growing together in a relationship, moving forward, things are improving, life is getting better for the both of you, and you are evolving and growing, coming up, rising, ascending, transcending together, you want to be very careful because you very well may be in a unhealthy relationship, unhealthy attachment. Now, sometimes both parties are just that and they're okay with that. Where the problem comes in at is when one wants to be healthy, evolve, move forward, and the other doesn't. And even in that, like I said, you may very well be in an unhealthy attachment, an unhealthy relationship. But again, if you want better, you learn to remove yourself and release yourself from an unhealthy relationship, having unhealthy attachments, and moving forward into healthier ones, healthier relationships, healthier attachments. And again, in a healthy attachment, healthy relationship, even if people leave, even if people have to go, even if people need to move on, if you're not able to go with them, you wish them well and understand that this is just part of their journey. And you appreciate the part that they've played in your life. And you free them and release them happily, joyfully, peacefully. Even if your heart hurts a little bit. Even if you're a little sad. You understand that this is what they need to do for them. And so you accommodate them and support them in that. That's what a healthy attachment looks like. That is what a healthy relationship looks like. Supporting one another, assisting one another where needed, trusting one another. And trust is a big part of having a healthy relationship, healthy attachment. You can't have a healthy relationship or healthy attachment if someone is not trustworthy. So if you're in a relationship with someone who you don't trust, or you're the person who's untrustworthy, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And so I hope this all makes sense to you all. And so with that, I'm going to go. Thank you all for watching my video. And that is my time. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at Latricia Booker. And yeah, I'm out. Peace.